So can you kiss your girlfriend? I'm kidding. I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about is, can you kiss the homies?
あなたはゲイ。
Pretty much everyone knows that the church is against homosexual acts and gay marriage. The church considers homosexual acts as being intrinsically disordered and contrary to natural law. And of course, the Bible also teaches that homosexuality is a sin, and I'll place a few verses in the caption so you can check this out after you're done with this video. And I suppose I could go on and on about what the Bible or the church teaches about homosexuality, but I don't think I'm wrong when I say those who reject those teachings or are uncomfortable with them aren't going to be convinced simply because I quote a bunch of Bible verses. I mean, why would you be? After all, there are people in our own parishes who engage in premarital sex, who are gooning on the rag, who watch pornography and commit all sorts of sexual sins that are obviously also prohibited in the Bible. So if those people don't take their sins seriously, why should you? Okay, so we've got a little bit of light. Okay, so where were we? Okay, why should you? Well, you should, right? You should. Well, you should, and they should too, and really we all should, because sexual sins are incredibly serious. Not because sex is bad or anything, but because of how good it actually is. You see, this is because when God made man, he made us in his image. So what do you think you're doing when you have sex and make a baby? You just did what God did in the Garden of Eden. God made man in his image, and you and your spouse, through sex, make a baby in his image. You are co-creators, you are participants in the creation of a human being that bears the image of God. Now, what this means is that sex, in and of itself, is an act that imitates God. Now, there are many ways in which we can imitate God, of course, but there are no other acts that we can engage in that can produce the creation of an image of God. And so if you view sex not just as an act of love or pleasure, but rather as a ritual in a sense that raises two people, husband and wife, into a place, into that garden to create an image of God, well, then you can start to understand why things that may seem not all that serious, like gooning and watching porn or kissing your girlfriend passionately, you can see why they are so taboo. Homosexuality, like gooning, premarital sex, and even sex that isn't open to life, using condoms and stuff like that, is wrong. It is wrong because it refuses to participate in the act of creating an image of God, which is what sex is for. Of course, it's also there for the intimacy between the spouses and all that, but yeah, you get my point. Now, of course, there's a range to this. Not all sexual sins are equal, although they are all deadly and therefore require confession to be forgiven. Some are obviously worse than others, and if you'd like me to explain that, let me know in the comments and I'll make a follow-up video about it.